On Friday night, with one swing of the bat, Josh Donaldson's walk-off blast led the A's to their 9th straight win and a Game 1 victory against the defending AL champs. Yesterday, it took an ace and 3 long balls to end the Green and Gold's win streak and even up the series. Today, can the Green and Gold capture a series win against one of the AL's best? The A's play the rubber game against the Tigers next. Beautiful day for baseball at the Coliseum. Another big crowd is expected, and it is the rubber game of the series, Torrey Hunter and the Tigers against Jared Parker and the Athletics. It's also Hyundai Sunday on Comcast Sportsnet California. It's brought to you by your Bay Area Hyundai dealers. Tigers A's coming up on Comcast Sportsnet California. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Oakland A's Baseball. Along with Ray Fosse, I'm Glenn Kuiper. Remember last year in the division series, the A's had a pretty good hold on Prince Fielder. He was quiet in that series. I think maybe he remembered that, Ray. Maybe he's a little ticked off by that because he's had a big series this weekend. You know,
second year in the American League after coming over from Milwaukee, and last year maybe getting to know the league, but I think he's found out about the league. Did a great job playing every game last year for the Tigers. Friday night he started with a booming home run, a 3-run shot against Bartolo Colon. They did add another double. Had a big night on Friday night. I don't think the A's got him out all evening, and it really continued yesterday afternoon here at the Coliseum on a beautiful afternoon. A big home run against Brett Anderson. Brett would give up 3, one of those with Prince Fielder. And you know, when he's right in the middle of this lineup with Cabrera and Victor Martinez, they have a very, very good lineup, so it's not surprising to see him hitting as well as he is.
Jared Parker and Anibal Sanchez, the pitching matchup today. Sanchez has pitched very good in his first 2 starts. Parker has not. This is an important start for Jared Parker.
Very big for Jared Parker. And you look back to last offseason, actually during the postseason, he made a couple of starts against the Tigers, Game 1 and Game 5. So he has that experience, and that should help him in the regular season. But he's going against a very good one in Sanchez because he doesn't lose in the month of April. And this is still April. We'll see what happens. But the A's did beat him in Game 3 of the division series last October.
So rubber game of the series and the day maybe the A's start a new winning streak. The A's and the Tigers coming up. We'll have lineups and first pitch from the Coliseum on a gorgeous day for baseball. We'll be back.
on Comcast Sportsnet California is brought to you by Jack in the Box. The Chipotle Chicken Club combo is back for a limited time at Jack in the Box. Try one today with fries and a drink for just $4.99 plus tax.
Welcome back to the Coliseum on a gorgeous day. Third and final game of the series. Athletics and the Tigers. Game time weather presented by the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. The admission-free boardwalk is open this weekend. 64 degrees. Light breeze, about the same as yesterday, actually. Not a cloud in the sky. Let's look at the starting lineup this afternoon for the Detroit Tigers. It starts with Austin Jackson, then Torrey Hunter, Miguel Cabrera, Prince Fielder. Big series for Prince Fielder. Victor Martinez will DH, and then it's Dirksen left, Peralta at short, Avila the catcher, and Omar Infante plays second base.
Jared Parker starts for the Athletics today. He did make one start against the Tigers regular season, picked up the loss, and then, of course, a couple of starts in the division series. But the most important thing, only 8 1/3 innings and 2 starts so far in this young 2013 season. So Jared Parker needs to have the changeup working effectively, change speeds against a very, very good hitting Detroit Tigers team.
Here's the A's defensively. Smith, Young, Reddick in the outfield. Donaldson, Lowry, Sogard, Moss on the infield, and Derek Norris does the catching. John Jaso will be in the lineup as the designated hitter today. So Parker's ready. And so is Austin Jackson. The crew chief, Sam Holbrook, will call balls and strikes this afternoon. Barrett, Nauert, and Fletcher round out the umpires for today. So Jackson steps in, and Parker's first pitch is right in there for a strike.
First pitch, 107.
Well, at least Jackson didn't swing at the first pitch today. Sometimes the first pitch fastball is seen by the hitter and he does not wait around, but today he does and gets the second and does that too.
So a leadoff single for Austin Jackson. He's had a nice series, and that's how the ball game gets started. A's won 4-3 in 12 innings on Friday night.
Back-to-back fastballs, this one inside, and we talk about hitters who can bring the hands in to get the good part of the bat on the ball instead of getting jammed, and that's a great job, great illustration there with Jackson bringing the hands in nicely and hitting the ball solidly.
Here's Torrey Hunter. Yesterday behind Verlander, the Tigers won 7-3. So rubber game of the series. A's will stay home after the ball game and wait for the Houston Astros series starting tomorrow night. The Tigers will have an off day in Seattle and then open up a 3-game series against the Mariners Tuesday.
And between golfing and fishing, they're going to be busy.
Not a bad place to have an off day, Seattle. Jackson runs, and Hunter pops it up, and it's going to reach the seats. For the Tigers, they will go to Seattle, and then next weekend they will be in Anaheim. So it's a 9-game road trip for Detroit.
Our good friend Jim Price on the radio side, of course, does the manager show with Jim Leland, former catcher with the Tigers. And I said, Jimmy, it's great. You make one trip to the West Coast. He said, yeah, but, you know, we could have started in Seattle, then to Oakland, then to Anaheim, and then we could have gone home. And I said, don't be greedy. You know, you could take 2 trips out of here.
What difference does it make?
You know, you're on the West Coast.
Well, when you see highlights and watch other games going on, and you see really how cold it's been in Midwest, East Coast.
There's our good man, good friend right there, Jimmy Price, 68 world champion Tigers. Yeah, is there an S up on the New York and Minnesota is postponed? They should put an S. I don't know if the scoreboard operator has an S for snow.
Yeah, quite a bit today, huh?
That's what happened at Target Field.
Torrey Hunter hit a home run yesterday. It was career home run number 298.
He's a great fan favorite. He's talking to some of the fans behind the first base dugout this morning, and he told them, the wind was blowing. There's no wind. Nothing helped that ball. It was crushed by the veteran Hunter.
So 0-2 to Torrey Hunter. Jackson with a good lead at first. Hunter drives one to center. Chris Young heading back, still going back. It's over his head. It's off the wall. Jackson digging around third. He's being waved home. He's going to score without a throw. And 2 batters into the game, the Tigers lead 1-0.
Another hanging breaking ball, and Jared Parker mislocation with Austin Jackson with a fastball in, and then a hanging breaking ball right in the middle of the plate with 2 strikes. And Torrey Hunter is not the type of hitter you want to make a mistake because he's so aggressive. And Jackson rounding second base, once he saw Chris Young's uniform number on his back, he knew it was going to be over his head. And he was going to be able to score early, or easily, that is. Well, you don't want to fall behind the Tigers. Their pitching staff is good, and it becomes an uphill battle with the offense trying to come back against the Tigers pitchers.
And you got to be careful of the crooked number as well.
Big time.
So Cabrera hits. He's had a quiet series, 1 for 9. And he bounces this one in the hole. Backhanded by Lowry. His throw is dug out by Moss. Nice play by Brandon Moss.
And Jed Lowry had a little bit more time than he thought because a backhand of the ball unloaded it quickly, and the ball did bounce. Cabrera not running very hard down the line, so a quick release, but we saw in Anaheim with Josh Donaldson making a couple of throws in the dirt. Brandon Moss doing exactly that. And the danger of that, when you backhand, you have no protection of your body to block the ball if it gets by in this foul territory.
Talked about Prince Fielder in our open and how tough he has been in this series. 6 for 8. He's going to be intentionally walked here.
Well, look, Moss with his body, foot on the bag, so he just had the glove. That's good hands by Brandon Moss to be able to make that play, and the danger of what would have happened. I think he's taking a sigh of relief realizing that he caught the ball.
Expo brought to you by Cache Creek Casino Resort.
It's the obvious move to make by Bob Melvin, the A's skipper, considering it does set up a possibility of a double play. And Victor Martinez, who has been struggling, but you just hope it continues for about 4 at-bats today before he heads off to Seattle. As Victor Martinez is a good hitter, and season-ending surgery last year took him a little while to get going, but A's hopeful of getting a ground ball to get 2 to get out of the inning.
1 for 9 in the series. On the season, he's 5 for 38 with 3 RBIs. Andy Dirks, a left-handed hitter in the on-deck circle, and the first pitch to Martinez is a strike. So Torrey Hunter with an RBI double here in the first. Driven to right center. Reddick on the move. Young on the move near the wall. It's off the base of the wall. Torrey Hunter's being waved around. A's got a play at the plate. He is safe. Not sure what Torrey Hunter was doing.
Did something you shouldn't be doing, and with 1 out, you never tag up, but he thought the ball was going to be caught. He was going to tag. Fastball mislocation inside, but Reddick came close to catching it. But what runners should be doing is going halfway with 1 out. He was tagging and almost got caught. The ball short hop. Derek Norris and Torrey Hunter with the hand touching the plate going around the slide.
Did he touch the plate, right?
Touches the plate. He slid right past it, but as far as the home plate umpire is concerned, it was close enough.
I think we were all surprised that there was even a play.
Yeah.
So it goes as a single.
Yeah.
Not that.
Nobody out, you tag. If there's 1 out, you go halfway because you don't want that to happen. Yeah. It's very, very close, and a throw almost got it.
So it's a RBI single for Victor Martinez. Dirks this one to shallow left. Smith coming in, still coming in, and he makes the catch. Well,
unfortunately, the ball short hopped Derek Norris. He had to make sure he caught the ball, and then See, he almost lost it, had it between his legs, but all the while not able to apply the tag, or even better to block Torrey Hunter, who went around the tag. Let's see if he touches the plate. If he did, he got it right at the point in the back. And Torrey Hunter, the veteran, bring a sigh of relief that he was able to make it, considering he knows his base running.
Here's Johnny Peralta. Peralta hit a 3-run homer last night.
Yeah, he checked the point of the back of the plate, and that's where he barely touched it, maybe with his pinky finger. Not by much.
Well, you can see the mark on the dirt where his hand went. Peralta, a homer, 5 RBIs. He's got a .310 batting average in the early going. And that one runs way inside. Watch the hand mark.
That's tough part on a catcher because of the new sliding of base runners, and really just going around the slide, reaching back and tagging the plate with their hand.
Swing and a miss. Off speed pitch. So the count 1-2 to Peralta. A couple of runs in for the Tigers here in the first inning. Fielder at second, Martinez at first. So 3 hits and a walk here in the first. So Parker trying to minimize the damage. Setting up inside. And that one hit on 1 hop to Lowry. And the flip to second side retired. 2 runs on 3 hits for the Tigers. They lead 2-0 after a half an inning. From the A's in the bottom of the first. And the lineup has Jaso the DH, then Young in center, Smith in left, Lowry at short, Moss at first, Reddick in right, Donaldson at third, Norris will catch, Sogard will play second base.
And with a new 5-year contract with the Tigers, Anibal Sanchez will make the start. He has been very good in the month of April throughout his career, and he's done so this season as he is 1-0. With a 150 earned run average. 1 start against the A's regular season last year. A big win for the A's, beating him at Comerica Park on that long 10-game road trip to Detroit, New York, and Texas last year. 4-pitch pitcher. A couple of different fastballs and low 90s with the fastball.
First pitch to Jaso is low. So Anibal Sanchez facing the Athletics. Jaso led off and DH'd yesterday, doing the same thing today. So 2-0 to Jaso. A selective hitter. And now it's 3-0. Eased in their first strike by Sanchez. Young will be next, and then Smith for the A's in the bottom of the first inning. And a strike call. Jaso was going to lay his bat down and head to first. Sam Holbrook had another idea.
Well, the first three were low, and this one Jaso thought was similar to the location of the first three, but Holbrook said no.
That one is low, and it's a leadoff walk. Defensively for the Tigers, Dirks, Jackson, and Hunter. Very good outfield. Cabrera, Peralta, Infante, fielder on the infield with Avila doing the catching. Here's Chris Young playing center field today. Coco Crisp still out. Sounds like maybe tomorrow for Coco, but you're going to be careful with him as well.
Well, the nice thing is that it's day to day.
Slider is outside, 1-0. Cespedes placed on the disabled list yesterday. Let's get a Sox update from Chris Young. Now, I think those are old school. I think those are the
and
thick stirrup.
And with the A's logo on the lower part. Yeah, I
can't paint that on, can you?
No. Yeah, that's the old stirrup side.
See, that's a good look right there.
That's a great look.
I like the A's logo on the side of the sock.
See, Steve Vucinich provides the gold sanitary socks that you see underneath, and you don't see them that often, but Chris Young, you do.
1-2 now to Young. Yesterday, the
all-in-one.
All-in-one.
Yeah, that's
All right.
Well, that looks like the look, but today's the real look.
One and two the count. That one's driven to left. Going back is Dirks near the out-of-town scoreboard, and he's got just enough room to make the catch. Jaso tags, bluffs, and goes back.
Just a little bit under the ball, and nice swing by Chris Young, and been nice to see it a little bit more of a line drive. Dirks got turned around with a tough sun, high fastball, and hit nicely by Chris Young, and thought initially Dirks broke in, then went back and right at the warning track able to make the play. John Jaso, watching Dirks in left field, thought maybe it's going to go over his head and did not, and still a tough ball to tag because he definitely has to go halfway in case the ball does drop.
Here's Seth Smith. Seth Smith has been a hot hitter. In fact, his average is 500. And we're not talking about 2 for 4 here, folks. He's 13 for 26 with 6 doubles, a homer, and 6 RBIs. And Seth Smith, as we have learned, is a streaky hitter. And he's in a hot streak right now. Hitting in the 3rd spot today. Reddick down in the 6th spot. And Smith goes down swinging. Pretty nasty pitch there from Sanchez for the second out. Here's our true story for today. It's brought to you by McDonald's. We'll do it in just a minute.
Well, that's probably one of the worst swings you'll ever see from Seth Smith. Because fooled on the pitch and just kind of self-defense and emergency swing, trying to make contact, stay alive, but it was dipping down too quickly.
Yeah, he does not break down on his swing very often. So here's Lowry now, 2 outs. Lowry got most of the day off yesterday. His first time not in the lineup. He did pinch hit.
Good to see Sam Holbrook staying pretty consistent with his strike zone down low. Sanchez knows it's best to pitch down in the zone, and so far he's been missing.
Lowry 378 with 3 homers and 8 RBIs. $17 hits in 45 at bats. That one hit well to left center field, but Dirks is going to get back. Dirks, pretty good outfielder, got a good jump. Side retired. So the A's get a leadoff walk, but they do not score.
At the Ballpark phone application available for iPhone and Android phones. Select your new seat location at the O.K Coliseum, then show your phone to the usher. It's that easy to download the MLB.com at the Ballpark app. Visit OaklandAthletics.com/ballpark or text ballpark to 31826. Message and data or data rates may apply.
Depends where you're from. Potato, potato. But since we're both originally from the Midwest, we should agree on the pronunciation. That one dropped into center field. Alex Avila on the first pitch he sees from Parker. So Parker right back into the stretch.
Batting ninth, second baseman, number 4.
Well, Avila known as a very good catcher and does add some pop with his bat. And you know the thing about it, and that's the location of the pitch that Victor Martinez got. Alex Avila also first pitch fastball hitting. So if nothing else, the great changeup that Parker throws, he throws it the same way as he does his fastball. Good idea maybe to feature some first pitch changeups with hitters looking for the fastball. But location is always the key, and if you miss, good hitters are going to make you pay.
Well, it's only 2 and 1 inning worth of starts this year, but just the number that jumps out, Ray, or the 2 numbers in this fact, is 7 walks and 2 strikeouts for Parker so far this year. And I think he's a strikeout guy, don't you? I mean,
well, he got the big strikeout, Torrey Hunter, down in Anaheim with the bases loaded first inning, and with all 3 changeups thrown in that at bat to Josh Hamilton, who, by the way, hit his first home run last night.
Yes, he did. 1-1 the count to Omar Infante.
It's a good change. Good change. That's the one he wants to throw. Because he can throw his changeup to righties or lefties. You see the ball movement down and in as it floats in and then goes down and in like a 2-seam sinker. But the fact that it's a good changeup, and because he throws it so effectively like his fastball, it's hard for hitters to pick up. Stay back.
Short lead by Avila at first. Infante swings and misses, and there's a strikeout for Parker, his first.
And maybe Derek Norris just said, I'm just going to call all changeups. He hung a breaking ball to Torrey Hunter. This location with a couple of fastballs. The next ball, the foot down, but the changeup. Look how far he's out in front of this changeup. Swung and missed by a good 6-8 inches.
So now to the top of the order, and Austin Jackson, who singled and scored in the first inning. Jackson 4 for 12 in the series. They are underway in Anaheim. The Astros won and the Angels won that game in the third inning. Philip Humber pitching for Houston and C.J. Wilson for the Angels.
Last night the Angels were down 4-1, came back, made it 4-3, and scored 2 in the 9th inning, and they were very close to losing again to the Astros.
Yeah, 2 in the 8th, 2 in the 9th to win it, and if the Astros play some defense, they would have won the game. They made a couple costly defensive miscues, 1 in the 8th and 1 in the 9th, and it really was the difference. I think that's how the Angels won the game. Pujols got a double to win it, but
especially the fly ball right
the
there.
fly ball,
the
yeah.
Inning.
J.D. Martinez dropped a fly ball that cost a run in the 8th inning, and then they could not handle a ground ball by Trout in the 9th inning that kept the game going.
Yeah.
So it was a much needed win by the Angels last night. Rangers and the Mariners are underway. No score in the second inning. That's Tepich against Marr, a couple of rookie pitchers. It's a 4-game series. The Rangers have won 2 of the first 3. So we'll keep an eye on those 2 games. To the backstop, Avila's going to head to second, and he will make it easily.
Derek Norris did all he could do, and that's try to backhand a ball that was way outside. Spiked by Jared Parker. Looking at that, it might have been a pitch that he could have moved to his right, but I think he was fooled by the way the ball was thrown by Parker.
And that one's drilled left center, and that's trouble, and that's gone. Austin Jackson, 2-run homer, 4-0 Detroit.
And that was a 3-1 fastball that said hit me. And surprising with the assortment that Jared Parker has, that he would throw a 3-1 fastball right down the middle belt tie. Look at this location right there to be hit, and he put everything into it. That it was almost as if he knew he was going to get a fastball. And that's the line drive that Chris Young had hoped he would hit in the first inning. Got it elevated, but that one cleared the fence. That's a big blow.
So Austin Jackson doing major damage, and we're only 2 innings into the game. Now the Tigers came into this series. They had hit just 5 home runs in their first 9 games, which is not very many.
Now, how many Tigers hitters have hit their first home run this weekend?
That's what I'm saying. Too many. But they've hit 5 in this series, and they will hit plenty this year. Torrey Hunter fouls it straight back. So Parker trying to regroup here in the second inning. Only 1 out. Moss on the dive. Throws to Parker, who's covering. A nice play by Brandon Moss. He was playing way off the bag.
Well, and because of that, he went for the ball, even though Eric Sogard was there. They're talking now. And I go back to spring training with Mike Gallego, the A's infield coach, said communication, you have to know where the second baseman is, and see Sogard's right behind him. So the better play would have been for Brandon Moss to go to the bag and then have Sogard make the play. But Brandon Moss, very good fielding, which he did, and threw over the top, leading Parker, who made the catch and found the bag. But Mike Gallego said if first and second baseman talk, you see where the other guy is playing, especially second baseman, then you don't have to range so far. As Sogard has good range himself.
Here's Cabrera.
The ball hit to the right side. Parker better think about getting over quickly because Moss is way off the bag now.
Two and 0 now to Cabrera. 1 for 10 in the series. Fastball outside, 3 and 0. So 21 pitches in the first inning for Parker. 17 more here in the second. And a fastball high. 4-pitch walk to Cabrera. So Kurt Young's going to trot out. So Ray, even though it's only 3 starts, which is not that many, is there concern about Jared Parker? Because he has not looked sharp.
Yeah, I think the concern is that it's not what we've been accustomed to seeing in Jared Parker.
Not even close.
No, 13 wins last year and quality starts. I mean, when you start a couple of games in postseason as a rookie, it says a lot about what they think of your ability to pitch. And it's unfortunate that right now it's all about mechanics maybe and things that are happening. But remember last year he did not make the club out of spring training because he had to work on his mechanics. But I think the consistency in his pitches is what maybe is a concern to Kurt Young.
We talked about it in our open, how Prince Fielder, we talked about how he struggled in the division series, but that was a regular season series last year, and he was 1 for 18. Now, just to make the story better, we're saying Prince Fielder, he remembered all that and he's ticked off.
Trimmed his beard. Remember, he had the real bushy beard last year, so maybe you trim that, and like he's shed a few pounds. Looks, and I think as you talked about the number of games he's played consistently, and he's always in the lineup, and that's always going to help. If you in a new league, you want to see as many pitchers as possible, and he has done that. And
that hits him.
Now he put his elbow up.
It almost looked like he stuck his elbow
up. Yes, he
up.
did. Yes, he did. And they're going to give him first base. And that's...
It sure looked like he stuck his elbow out. And
I agree.
Be able to have a better idea.
What's the right elbow?
Yes, he did.
He stuck his elbow out. And Bob Melvin's going to ask, and I don't blame him, because that's really... And especially if he has a padding on the right elbow. Wow. Maybe that's like the other rule that we saw Friday night that's been changed. Anytime there's contact with the catcher, it's automatic dead ball. But watch the right elbow come up. There's your XMO. And if that's not intentional, I don't know what is. And granted, you know, he's turning away, and he does not want to be hit, but still, that looked like he, with 0-2, he was protecting and protected so much he got first base.
So 2 on, 2 out for Victor Martinez. First pitch is a bit outside, so a 2-out walk and a 2-out hit batter. Extending the inning for Jared Parker. Martinez had that RBI single that went off the wall in right center. Martinez steps back in, sitting on a 2-0 count, facing a struggling pitcher. And that one's drilled towards center. Young back, and he's got it side retired. A 2-run homer by Austin Jackson. So the bottom of the second is coming up. 4-0 Detroit. Sports at California is brought to you by Cache Creek Casino Resort. Cache Creek is giving away 16 cars guaranteed. Visit cachecreek.com for information. The team store is jumping, man. People want the green and gold gear, Ray. Can't blame them.
We saw what happened yesterday with the fleece blankets. Sellout crowd. Good baseball, good promotions, and good time at the yard.
A decent crowd today, not anything close to a sellout. Moss to lead it off. Sanchez had a walk and a strikeout in the first inning. And on an 0-2 pitch, Moss swings over top. So that is 1 out. Today's cold hard facts are brought to you by Frost Coors Light. A's offense current AL rankings: first in homers, first in runs per game, first in steals, slugging, hits, the whole shebang for the A's offense. It's been fun to watch.
Fun to watch until you run up against good pitching. And not to say that the Angels and Astros and Mariners didn't have. The A's were swinging the bat well, but pitching is what the game is all about. And just after yesterday facing Verlander and Sanchez today. But you like the approach. That's the main thing. Chili Davis has the approach with all of his hitters to handle any type of pitching that he faces. Some are a little bit tougher than others.
Oh, 2 to Reddick. Just a bit outside.
I think the biggest thing for Chili Davis in his offense now is trying to just take away this lead. Same thing happened yesterday with Verlander getting the lead. They almost came back, and try to do it again today, but the important thing is Cologne did Friday. He kept the Tigers at bay with just the 3 runs, giving the A's a chance to come back. Parker needs to do the same this afternoon.
A's would love to see Reddick get going. 4 for 33 to start the season. He swings and misses. Back-to-back strikeouts here in the 2nd inning.
Right over the top and pulls the string.
97, third baseman, number 20.
Just a good hard changeup, and comes out of his hand. A little bit harder than what Parker throws, but still, velocity change is what has fooled both Moss and Reddick in this half inning.
So here's Donaldson, and he takes high. For Anibal Sanchez, the trade that brought him to Detroit from Florida was on the 23rd of July last year. And then he pitched well in the postseason. Now, he lost a couple games in the postseason, but he pitched well. And that helped him get the big contract, and he looks like he's on today. He's retired 6 in a row after the leadoff walk to Jaso. 4-0 Detroit. The game. Be the first to get the final scores of your favorite team sent directly to your phone. Text Athletics to 82653 to receive A's final score alerts. CSNCalifornia.com, your interactive mobile leader for authentic Bay Area sports. CSNCalifornia.com has it covered. Great place to get all your updates. Casey Pratt covering everything. And in-game live.
Anything else? Got everything.
Well, Casey, Casey likes to say hi to me. Seem to have a pretty good relationship with Casey. He hasn't really said hi to you yet.
I know. He said it was hidden behind that bar over there.
No, it wasn't.
I agree. I called him on it too.
I don't know. You seem like a nice guy.
Yeah, Casey. Boy, he came apologizing and running up, and I've never sat there before, so that bar was different.
Not buying that one either.
Nope.
2-1 to Andy Dirks, leading off the top of the third. Dirks, Peralta, and Avila. Parker would love a quick inning. So 2-2. Dirks hit a fly ball to left field. And there's a swing and a miss. So strikeout number 2.
That's a heartbreaking pitch, unlike the one he hung to Torrey Hunter. See how hard it
Now
comes
batting,
out of his hand. And
number 27, Johnny Peralta.
turned it nicely, and Dirks just could not make contact, and that's the result of the quality pitch from Jared Parker.
First pitch to Peralta. Bounces 4 or 5 feet in front of Derek Norris. So 21 pitches in the first inning, 24 pitches in the second inning for Jared Parker. And that one spins Peralta out of the way. Parker behind a lot of hitters today.
You know, Fielder actually looked like he was upset that he got hit, and that ball up and into Peralta. But you have to look at the control of a pitcher, and right now Jared Parker's is not that great. But I think with Sam Holbrook talking to Prince Fielder the way it was, is almost that Prince was a little upset, even though his elbow went up and was hit. You know, that
just doesn't make much sense to me.
I agree. Looking at it from afar, it does not make any sense. But
I'm gonna stick my elbow out,
yeah,
to try to get hit, and then if I do get hit, I'm gonna act mad.
Yeah. And he looked at it, heard the thump, and I don't think he's wearing a pad on the right elbow. Again, nobody likes to get hit, especially with a good fastball. He's a prince.
Yes, he is. Well, the ball goes toward Donaldson. The bat goes to the right side of the diamond. And a 9-pitch inning for Jared Parker. That's what he needed. Bottom of the third coming up. Norris is going to lead it off. 4-0 Detroit.
Good Tidings Foundation to refurbish 2 fields for the 2013 baseball and softball season. Stencil Field in San Leandro and Centennial Park in Hayward have been refurbished as part of the Energize Your Field program. To have your field refurbished, go online to oaklandathletics.com/energizeyourfield. You can energize my lawn and my
come on over.
yard. Refurbish it. That's nice to see some of the parks around the Bay Area, and actually throughout baseball as we travel, and we see some parks that have been refurbished, and you see a lot of kids out playing baseball. It's always good to see.
Norris, Sogard, Jaso here in the bottom of the third. Tigers with 2 in the first, 2 in the second. Sanchez is one of those guys, and you have to be a little bit careful, is can tell early on if he's got it, and if he does, he can lock in and just roll on.
He's got a slight turn where he kind of turns his back to the hitter, and 3 pitches, 2 fastballs and a curveball, and
wow,
see you later. Those are very good pitches.
So that is strikeout number 4 for Anibal Sanchez.
Turns his back and then right over the top, and that's a good Uncle Charlie, and really a pretty good pitch to hit, but the deception is there. Actually ran into Max Scherzer downstairs and said, how do you do it? How do you strike out? And he talked about deception, and that's what it is. He has movement on his fastball, but the deception is there, and you know, the A's hitters have been talking about it, and Scherzer confirmed it, and just something about his delivery that guys don't pick up the baseball, and he strikes out everybody.
You know what would be a great stat to have, and I'd be curious about it, is there's a line drive by Sogard to left center field, and that's a hit. So that's the first hit by the Athletics. So Sogard with a nice stroke to left center.
Stayed inside, and ninth place hitter. He's gotten a chance to see a lot of Sanchez in his pitches. Gets a fastball, and there's the leg kick, foot down, swing coming through, and that's his best way of hitting right there. Occasionally it's an off-speed pitch, he'll pull it in the seats in right field, but up the middle opposite field is the best case for Sogard. Whoa, there's a move. Did you see that?
Yeah.
He might have been putting his foot, and usually first baseman holds the tag, and watch as Sogard goes back, he puts his hand as he's getting up.
Oh,
yeah.
I don't know if an umpire is going to call that, but watch.
He's transferring, taking his hand, and
he was out.
He was out. And that's why Prince Fielder looked at Lance Burnett. Great shot, guys, because that was, you don't see it, but yet a first baseman always holds the tag just in case.
That's right.
And that time, taking the foot and the hand and transferring. You're right. How often?
Well,
I don't know that I've ever seen
a call. Yeah.
It's like the out of bounds line, you know, whenever they throw the ball after a basket. Heck, they're barely in foul territory. No, it's not called foul territory in basketball. What is it called? Out of bounds?
Out of bounds.
There you go. Out of bounds.
But what I was saying, Ray, it'd be fun to know what percentage of pitches, when I say percentage, I mean fastball, changeup, curve, slider, is swung and missed at.
Oh, yeah.
Because I bet more often than not a guy swings and misses at an off-speed pitch than he does a fastball. Would you agree with that?
I agree, and I think a lot because hitters look fastball, and so they gear for the fastball, and you can see when they're. And you think about it, you have less than a second when the pitcher throws the ball to determine the type of pitch, the velocity, location. And that's why hitting is hard if you really think about it. And a lot of credit is given to hitters by pitchers. Oh, John. Oh, too bad there were 2 strikes. But you stand at home plate and you have a pitcher 60 feet 6 inches away winding up and throwing. And you have to load up, get your bat started, and while you're loading up and starting to think about, okay, is it a pitch I want to hit? And that's why if you don't look fastball, great hitters can maybe look for something else, but if you don't look fastball and you get one, you can't catch up. I remember Hall of Famer Brooks Robinson said later in his career, he said, I always looked fastball and I geared up because I did not want a fastball thrown by me. But it's why when we see the great shots, whether next slow or real speed of a hitter way out in front in an off-speed pitch, because he's looking fastball. Yeah. That's a great point you bring up, because if they get a fastball, they're going to hit it. More cases than not.
So I guess what I'm asking for is what percentage of swings and misses are fastballs? What percentage are changeups, sliders? Slider is probably the number one, I would think.
Or a changeup. Good changeup. But right now, B.I. is figuring that out. Right now. B.I. is working on it.
He is.
And if he's not, he better be. Without a calculator. Now, I'm sure that stat is out there because they have everything.
So the count is 1-2 to Jaso, giving Sanchez a good battle. Missed inside.
I think Jaso has been very good, and we've seen him in his career. He has a very good eye. He's very disciplined. He knows the strike zone, as he did in the first inning, and I think that's why Joe Madden had him leading off as a catcher, which is not really the normal position for a catcher, but his good on-base percentage, has a good eye, then it's one of the reasons.
And he did not go around, so now the count is full. Chris Young will be next.
And he starts his swing. He's ready to swing, but holds up. Strong wrist to be able to keep the bat hit from going through the hitting zone. And if Melvin has the confidence and Jason will make contact, Sogard to be on the move. 1 out in the second inning, third inning.
Here he runs, and the pitch is well outside, and it's a walk. So Jaso has walked twice.
And that's great for a manager, because ideally you want to try to stay out of a possible double play. And you have 3-1, 3-2, then if you know the hitter is going to make contact or is disciplined enough to have a good eye to take a pitch out of the strike zone, you send the base runner and nothing else. Ground ball, you have a runner in scoring position. Yeah, you have that yet?
So Sogard at second, Jaso at first. So an opportunity for the A's here in the bottom of the third.
Guy hits the same ball in a line drive by Chris Young, make it a 1-run game. Had a great swing his first at bat.
First pitch breaking ball for a strike. Mike Trout has hit his first home run of the year, and the Angels lead the Astros 2-1 in the fifth inning. Rangers and Mariners still tied 1-1, that game in the fourth inning. Good swing by Young. But now he's behind in the count 0-2.
Right off the face mask of Alex Avila, and this is a shot. This is why important to have a strong neck. Once the mask pops straight off, you can hear the sound. And wearing the helmet, which protected him Friday night with the movement of Avila locking the ball in the dirt and getting hit in the top of the helmet.
Grounded toward third. Out at second, but Young beats the throw to first to keep the inning going. So Young's aboard on the fielder's choice.
And here's what we're talking about. That was a out on the front foot. Really didn't hit it that hard, but knew it was a strike. Had to protect the strike zone. But fortunately for him, good speed to be able to avoid the double play to end the inning. But he was pretty much running out of the batter's box when he hit the breaking pitch away from him, thrown by Sanchez.
So Seth Smith will hit. 2 on, 2 out.
Does Seth Smith know it's Hyundai Sunday?
Well, he knew it last year.
What did he?
Smith hit 14 home runs last year in 125 games. I got to believe 4 or 5 of them were on Hyundai Sunday.
Yes, they were. One against Soriano here at the Coliseum, and CC Sabathia's game in which
Young runs, and he's going to make it without a throw. So Chris Young is second steal of the year. And here's our true story brought to you by McDonald's. Boy, do we remember this. Game 3 division series. That off Anibal Sanchez, and that gave the A's a 2-0 lead. Again, that's game 3.
Game 3 was an elimination game.
Yeah.
Coming back down 0-2.
And Sanchez pitched fairly well that night, but Brett Anderson was terrific. And of course, Smith got the big double in game 4 in the bottom of the 9th that helped the A's come back and win that game.
Love nothing better than right here to have a base hit any place. And Sanchez not really adept at holding base runners. That's why Chris Young was able to steal second easily, put 2 runners in scoring position.
So the count now 2-1.
pretty much playing Seth Smith straight up. Center fielder Austin Jackson, the ability to go back on the ball, is playing shallow. He is one of the center fielders we see in the league that does play shallow.
Sogard at third, Young at second. Close pitch, but outside, 3-1. The crowd making some noise. Sanchez is ready. And he goes off speed, 79 miles per hour, and drops it in for a strike.
Great curveball. Cap, I think there's a case of 3-1 Seth Smith. He's got a history of hitting him well. Hit a home run in Detroit during the regular season, postseason as we showed, and saying, I'm going to pitch you carefully. And if he walks him, he'd rather face Lowry with the bases loaded probably and take a chance with Lowry, but maybe not give in to Seth Smith.
3-2 pitch, and he goes with a fastball, and he gets the strikeout. So Sanchez works out of the jam. The A's strand a pair. We're through 3 at the Coliseum. 4-0 Tigers.
We're talking in Anaheim about the bases. How about what the A's do? Clay Wood and his ground crew, twice a game. After the third inning, they will do this. They'll drag the infield, and look what they will do also. They'll remove the bases and put new ones in. They'll change them twice a game, and we were wondering, clean them, paint them. Clay said, don't paint, we just clean them. And if they get too bad, we get new ones.
All right.
But he said if we painted them, the paint would build up on the base, and it wouldn't work out. So,
great. Nice work by you. A little investigative reporting from Ray Fosse.
Clay caught him when he was eating breakfast.
It's good.
But, you know, and he said they are hard, as we talked about. He said there's a little cushion on top, but the side is relatively firm, which should be, and that's why a base runner should turn the base by hitting the side of the bag. But they're not forgiving. They are hard in the sense that if you slide improperly, then they're going to affect you a little bit.
Well, we've said it many times, Ray. When you see a guy sliding into second base to try to break up a double play, they tend to sometimes slide a little later.
Yeah.
And what it does, it kind of forces their body to kind of go over the bag, and the guy sliding usually gets hurt or at least nicked up more than the defender who he's sliding into, because you have to, if your body goes across that bag when you're sliding, it's going to hurt.
And even worse, see the height of the bag. If your foot goes into the bag down here, bag's not moving, because there is a post that is attached to the bag that goes down into another hollow post in the ground, and it is very sturdy, because the last thing they want is to have runners, in the case of Ricky Henderson or any speedster, who's running and that bag move when they plant their foot on it to make the turn. But Clay said, we do not paint, we clean, and we change twice a game. Ricky has third base someplace. When he broke the all-time record for the most stolen bases in his career, Ricky picked it up, and I think Jose Canseco picked up the 40-40, the 40th stolen base bag in Milwaukee when he accomplished that. Couldn't get it out of the hole.
How much does a bag cost? What do you think about that?
Well, probably have to ask Clay.
Could you get on that, Ray, please?
He budgets, I'm sure.
Right. If anybody's watching that has Clay Wood's cell phone number,
yeah,
find that out for us, and Clay will let us know, because we're trying to cover everything today.
Clay has a great grounds crew. It's minimal because there's not a lot of rain, and they do a great job keeping the field ready. But of course, back in the Midwest and East, we see they may have 40 or 50 guys because it takes that many to put a tarp on the field. But Clay has a very good crew. Animal been around for a long time. Most of them been together, and so it's never that I'm not talking about everybody. But this is, well, that was the main guy, Clay Wood, who was.
That was him.
That was him. Started to circle me, Clay.
And there's a base hit to right field by Austin Jackson, who is an A's killer today. Stolen base leaders in Oakland A's history. So we're talking about bases, stealing bases, and just like that, we got a leaderboard. We know who's first, but it's kind of fun to see who's second.
And so much so that Campy's second, about 500 behind Ricky. And so I don't think anybody's going to catch the great all-time stolen base leader, Ricky Henderson.
First pitch to Torii Hunter is inside. When we were in Houston, you were attending to your daughter's wedding. We talked about the anniversary of the designated hitter.
That's right. That's correct.
Which was 1973. So
Ron Blumberg.
And Ron Blumberg was the first designated hitter. At least he walked in the box as a designated hitter for the first time. And Scott and I chuckled because everybody remembers Ron Blumberg, but who were the Yankees, or who were the Yankees playing that day, and who was their DH? It was Orlando Cepeda, the Red Sox. But Billy North was the first A's designated hitter. Yeah. You were in that lineup as well, but the A's had a night game. I looked up the lineup, and you played that night, but Billy North was the DH.
And actually, Charlie Finley acquired Darren Johnson from the Phillies to be a designated hitter. Exactly. And Billy, of course, played center field most of the time, and he'll be back for the reunion in a couple of weeks.
0-2 to Torii Hunter. Keep an eye on Jackson. There are not a lot of base stealers in this Tigers lineup. In fact, there's very, very few, but he is one of them.
And when you have the power-packed lineup that the Tigers do, and that sometimes will, at least a manager might say, if you're going to steal it, make sure it's 100%, because you know you are in scoring position. You've got a guy like Cabrera who hits home runs, even Torii Hunter and Prince Fielder, Victor Martinez. It's a good lineup that's going to produce runs just by swinging the bat. But I still go back to what Mike Scioscia did in 2002 when they won their championship. He stole bases. Bob Melvin. You know, sometimes you have to manufacture runs. And I'm sure Jim Leland would say the same thing, that the power is good, but sometimes you do have to try to get a run here and there, especially facing a tough pitcher.
Not close. Well, this year the Tigers only have 4 steals. So you're right. They're not going to steal a lot, but I think occasionally you do have to do it.
Jim Leland confirmed he's no longer wearing cleats. He told me that his back is bothering him too much and he can't wear cleats anymore. So I was disappointed that he was the last, because Bobby Cox retired and Jim Leland was wearing the cleats, but he's had to go to the softer shoes.
Chris Young racing back, still going back, and he dropped it. In and out of the glove. Jackson is going to hustle for third. Torrey Hunter will stop at second. Chris Young digging back, and he got his glove on it right in front of the wall, but could not hold on.
Another breaking pitch, and Torrey Hunter hit it, and it could have been just as he was running back. We can put the glove up, see if it hits right in the pocket. Yep, right in the center, and it's ideally you want to get it up in the webbing. It hit in the pocket and popped out, maybe towards the heel of the glove. And typically the outfielder's gloves are longer. Jackson thought it was going to be caught. He had rounded second, saw the glove, went back to second, or started to retrace his steps, and was not able to score. A long run, and from the outfielder standpoint, you just cannot position your glove where you want it to be.
And there's a base hit left field. Jackson will score. Torrey Hunter's going to be waved home. Seth Smith's throw is cut off by Donaldson. It's a 2-run single for Cabrera, and it is now 6-0 Tigers.
And there's your protection. Prince Fielder having a great series. First base is open, but Prince is the on-deck circle, and that guy, it's amazing. All series, he's done really nothing because nobody's been on base. But with his reaction with a runner, 2 runners in scoring position, fastball inside, he opens up and pulls it. Gene Lamont sending Torrey Hunter all the way. Torrey seemed like he was going to stop, and Lamont kept sending him, probably thinking, how does a guy win a triple crown if he doesn't score 2 runs on a base hit to left field?
It's true. RBIs 12 and 13 this year for Cabrera.
Okay. As the bullpen gets active, you said it best, beware of the crooked number, and the Tigers have 3 crooked numbers.
Pitch is low to Prince Fielder, 1-1 the count, and it's going to be Scribner who gets up. Raul Ibanez has hit a solo home run for the Seattle Mariners. The Mariners lead the Rangers 2-1 in the bottom of the 4th inning. Pitch is outside, 2-1.
Raul back home in Seattle where it all started. He's struggling a little bit to start the season, so that had to feel good for him to hit a home run.
See the Mariners, I think you probably know the kid's name. Mariners have a catcher in AAA who was a very, very high draft pick. I think last year. His name is Mike Zunino, and he is tearing up AAA to the point where they're saying, this is, we may have to bring this guy up. I don't know. He was a second or third pick overall in the draft. They think he's going to be a star. We'll wait and see on that. But from the stories I have read, he's forcing them to make a decision. Now again, it's AAA numbers, so you don't know how they're going to translate at the big league level, but he is a highly touted prospect. Cabrera takes off, and it's lined to left center field. Cabrera's a big fella, but he runs pretty well, and they're going to wave him home. And he's going to make it. Prince Fielder hurts the A's again.
And you know what's too bad about that, Kite? Cabrera had taken off to second. All Parker had to do was look, step off, and he would have been out. And Jed Lowry saw him running, went over to cover second, and the ball was right where he had positioned himself. Another pitch that was left up. Lowry, watch Jed Lowry go over to second. The ball is going to be right there, right where he was positioned, and because Cabrera was halfway to second, he was able to score. But watch him take off right there, and he just did not look over again, and it's going to be his last pitch.
So when it's time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up, your oil change, tune-up, and smog experts. So Parker knocked out here in the 4th. It's quite a swing he takes, isn't it, Ray?
Well, he does, and especially the counts in his favor. It's 3-2. He loads up and lifts the front foot just a little bit, gets the foot down, and just takes a massive swing. He is, and the follow through. What's the finish? He makes contact, complete follow through, all the way around. Golfers at the Masters have to be impressed with that swing. The way he shot. Finished so high, hit his elbow in his last at bat.
He's got 19 RBIs now this season, and Parker 3 1/3. Still only one out here in the 4th inning. Victor Martinez grounds one. It's juggled by Sogard, but he's got time to get the out. So Fielder goes to 3rd. Now 2 outs for Dirks.
Now batting, number 12, Andy Dirks.
Dirks is 0 for 2. And the big Scribner curveball is a bit low. Fastball inside. Now Scribner pitched yesterday. 1 inning through 12 pitches. So did not get overworked yesterday.
Well, he's the type of pitcher then can't give the A's some innings, and that will be helpful in this situation. And Jared Parker, 3 1/3. Start down in Anaheim. That put a little toll in the bullpen, although the A's did win that game 9-5. And this game, a lot of time remaining. Runner at 3rd. Nice pick by Derek Norris to keep him there.
So now 3-1 to Dirks. Scribner kicks in the pitch, and it's a swing and a miss on a high fastball. So full count. 3 runs in on 4 hits, 4 consecutive hits. Single, double for the Tigers here in the 4th. That one lined foul. Lots of sunshine today at the ballpark, which is always nice to see. Another foul ball by Dirks. It's warm enough where one of those would probably do just fine.
And I bet Jackson's already got one, right? Jack's got one someplace hidden away.
Yeah.
And if he was a nice young son, he'd bring you and me one.
After he's had as much as he can have. So the count remains full to Dirks. And that one hit right up the middle into center field, the base hit. So Prince Fielder will trot home. It's a 4-run inning, and it's now 8-0.
Well, Cap, one of the things that Jared Parker, and I know Kurt Young is seeing this, but take a look at the 3 hitters in this inning, at least 3. Here's Jackson. Look at the location. Up. 3-2 between the count and the location. Now look at Cabrera. Pitches up. And then we're going to go also to Prince Fielder. Pitches up. And Major League Baseball, ideally, you want to pitch down in the zone, which we've seen Sanchez to do today. But Jared Parker, for some reason, not getting his pitches down. And as a result, in this inning, 3 of the first 4 hitters at the top of the batting order, and the breaking pitch to Torrey Hunter was off speed enough. He was out on his front foot. It was down, but he was still able to drive it as far as he did to left center. So not a particularly great line for Jared Parker. But Kurt Young, the best pitching coach in baseball, so you got a chance to work with him and try to figure it out.
1-1 to Peralta. Donaldson has it. He'll go to second. And finally, the side is retired. 4 runs on 5 hits for the Tigers. So as we go to the bottom of the 4th, Detroit leads the A's 8-0. In 2006, who has the longest home run by an A's player at the Coliseum? If you think you know the answer, tweet us at CSN Athletics. Longest home run. Well, Torrey Hunter hit a long one yesterday, but he is not an athletic. 463 feet was his home run. That's what they tell us anyway. Lowry to lead it off against Anibal Sanchez. Tigers with an 8-0 lead. Lowry, Moss, and Reddick. And that one's lined, and that's a base hit. So a good start as Lowry does not wait around.
And just hope that Sanchez starts to elevate some fastballs, which he did the first offering to Lowry. He didn't wait around. Sanchez maybe think he's going to be taking, but that's a belt-high fastball. And Jed Lowry did exactly what he was trying to do. Wait back and send the ball to the opposite field. You know, Cap, we talked about how hitters, swing and miss certain pitches, but typically if a hitter stays back, I mean, you always talk about stay back, stay back. Well, if you stay back, they see the ball longer. And if it's an off-speed pitch, you might be able to pull it, but otherwise you do what Jed Lowry did, and that's hit the ball to the opposite field, which is excellent hitting on his part.
So here's Moss, who struck out in the second inning. Sanchez has 5 strikeouts in the game. It's blocked by Alex Avila. .51 pitches for Sanchez. And he missed a game. So 3-0.
Sometimes too many runs can be negative for a pitcher. They like the run support, but at times will change their approach if they have a bigger lead.
And a 4-pitch walk. Well, maybe the comeback starts here. That's 3 walks by Sanchez.
Well, what the A's have to do when they get opportunities, they have to take advantage of them. A couple of runners on last inning. Did not do anything with it. Sanchez, remember, in the game in Detroit, the final game of the series last September, A's beat Sanchez and the Tigers 12-4 in the game. Got 6 runs off Sanchez. as they had a huge game in the series finale, a big win for them.
And Reddick takes the first pitch strike. Reddick struck out swinging in the second inning. And that one foul back, so Reddick in the hole, 0-2. When you're a struggling hitter, which Reddick is at this point, it seems like you're always behind in the count.
Well, I think Josh Reddick also experiencing what most hitters will do. It's some hitters who are part-time players. Reddick every day, but got hurt last Sunday. Didn't play again until Friday, so missing the time that he did. Timing usually is the first thing that you have to pick up and try to regain. And there's the frustration. Slams his bat in the ground.
Peralta gets back there and he makes the catch. So Reddick is 0-2. So one out here in the bottom of the fourth.
Got tied up a little bit with a high fastball and showing his frustration, but ball was caught by the infielder Peralta, but no infield fly rule was called because it wasn't a guaranteed easy play by an infielder.
Oh, that's not an easy play.
No, it's
Sunshine.
not. Yeah. And that was smart on the umpire's part of not calling an infield fly rule, actually helping the infielder if that is the case.
Right through Avila, and the runners will move up. Avila looked like he was surprised that would went through his legs.
Well, that's the old saying about the ball hugging the ground. As he goes down, which he does a good job, he just missed it. Actually, that didn't hit the ground.
See, that should be a pass ball.
It ought to be a pass ball. No, I thought it hit the ground, but no, he went down to block it, but it stayed out. It hit the heel of his catcher's mitt.
And that is the call. Pass ball.
Maybe the sunglasses are too dark.
Strike right on the outside corner. So 1-1 the count. Donaldson hit a ground ball to third to end the second inning. Fastball is low. Outfield straightaway and shallow. Inside. So Sanchez throwing a lot of pitches himself.
He's trying to use all of his pitches, and so far the only one that's working is the fastball in this inning. Once again, Donaldson should be able to sit on the fastball. Last inning, when he struck out Smith, he kind of went backwards, throwing a 3-1 breaking ball and then a 3-2 fastball. Striking out Seth Smith with a couple of runners on.
And Donaldson, a big swing on 3-1.
You know what he wanted? He wanted to send that one up to the Oaktown sign below the flagpole in left field. And he just changed everything. He was trying to hit a home run. And that's usually what happens. High leg kick, foot down, but he just swung too hard and completely missed it. Go back to the normal swing and normal approach.
And that one just missed.
Whoa.
Sanchez went with a fastball. He's standing on the mound. Whoa. Can't quite believe that was called the ball. He's asking Sam Holbrook, where was it?
It wasn't outside. How about right down the middle, knee high? And Holbrook is called some down there, but fortunately for Josh Donaldson, he did not call this one, because that could have been called a strike, and no complaints. The only complaint is Sanchez.
So the A's have the bases loaded, one out for Norris.
Just a little bit at a time. That's what the A's need to do.
First pitch to Derek Norris. And that one was more outside than the pitch to Donaldson, but it's called a strike. Norris struck out looking in the third.
So far, Derek Norris has seen 4 pitches, and the bat has not left his shoulder. One of those patented opposite field hits by Derek Norris.
Staying outside, this time with an off-speed pitch. There's your runners. Lowry at third, Moss at second, and Donaldson is at first. Norris with 3 RBIs on the season, does not have a home run yet.
That block by Alex Avila is why, when he missed the one that eluded his glove, was very surprising. Very good at blocking balls, and he does a great job here. This one, as he went down to his knees. Now Jeff Jones is going to pay a visit to his pitcher and maybe remind him that 8 runs might not be enough.
Nope.
You got to pitch like it's a scoreless or a 1-run game. Bob Melvin yesterday was ejected for the first time this season, and this is why. That ball was ankle high and called strike 3 by Andy Fletcher, and Bob Melvin had had enough. Was ejected immediately for arguing balls and strikes, and then, as I said then, and I'll say again, I hope the supervisor will supervise him. And that's the man that's always here that we know. A new day for Bob Melvin, and trying to see his club come back.
The 2-1 pitch to Derek Norris, and he chased a high fastball to even the count.
You got to stay within yourself. We hear it so often, but there's a case of situational hitting and thinking he's going to get a fastball and he's going to swing regardless of the location. It was definitely out of the strike zone.
And now full count. Now this is one of these innings that can wear you down if you're a starting pitcher, no matter what the score is.
This is a big pitch and a big at bat for Derek Norris, and the pressure should be on the pitcher, Sanchez. And if the catcher calls anything but a fastball, he would only do it because the 8-run lead. Figuring that Derek Norris is going to be sitting fastball, which he should be. And would be shocked if he gets anything but a fastball. It just has to be disciplined enough to make sure it's in the strike zone.
3-2 pitch is hit high to left field. Dirks circling under it. Tagging is Lowry. Dirks has it. The throw to the plate is a little offline. So getting in to score is Lowry, and the A's are on the board.
He threw him a 3-2 curveball. And Derek Norris had an exceptional bat to be able to hit it, because any other hitter had to be looking fastball, and Derek Norris probably was. But watch the curveball. Wasn't a particularly good one, but it was not the 4-seam fastball that you would expect he was going to get it. But I'm glad that Lowry tested the arm of Dirks, because the A's are just trying to get on the board, and they did, although the wind brought the ball back considerably. But that's why after Norris stepped out, Sanchez asked him to go through the signs again. He probably said, well, you just called a curveball. But Derek Norris had a great at bat.
Strike on the inside corner. So Sogard now looking for a 2-out hit. Curveball stays hot. Sogard singled in the third inning.
Jackson's playing very shallow, slightly over in right center. That same shot to left center with a little bit of extra drive towards the gap might score 2.
And a curve outside corner, 1-2.
He's got a good curveball, and he's showing it off this inning. Living up a little bit, but just the fact that it is a curveball is filling the field with hitters.
You see Sanchez, he will throw anything at any time.
8-run lead, throwing a 3-2 curveball. Bases loaded. That's exactly right, and that's confidence that he and his catcher has basically in the pitches that he throws. It helps the catcher to call anything, anytime.
2-2 and a fastball. Sogard lays off. So another full count.
25 pitches this inning. 48 coming in, I think you said, and now 73.
Wow. Runners go. 3-2 pitch is on the outside corner. Strike 3 call. So through all that, the A's get a run. 5th inning coming up. 8-1 Detroit.
FM, the game broadcasting live from the all-new Budweiser Bowtie Bar. Watch A's broadcaster Guy Aberman start the game day off with insights and updates. And while you're there, order a customized A's jersey and get it the same day. The Budweiser Bowtie Bar is at Section 129 on Tuesday for our live radio remote with 95.7 FM, the game. 95.7 FM. The game with Guy Aberman. It's a nice Tuesday feature. Get the insights.
That's right. So it's an 8-1 Tigers lead as they come to bat here in the top of the 5th. Avila, Infante, and Jackson. Evan Scribner. He needs some quick innings, and he needs to stay out there for a while. Scribner faced 3 hitters in the 4th inning. The Rangers scored a couple runs in the top of the 5th inning. It's now Texas 3, Seattle 2 in the 6th inning. Rangers trying to take 3 out of 4 from Seattle. And still 2-1 Angels over the Astros in the 7th inning. Eric Ibar and Kevin Jepson both put on the disabled list by the Angels. As we saw the Ibar injury in that left heel. Jepson, on the other hand, a strained tricep in his right arm. Fair ball. Moss near the line. 1 out.
Well, that's good news about Jepson, that it's that instead of a whiplash from some of the home runs he gave.
Yeah, he did not look good.
Because when you give up some of the rockets he gave up against the Angels, and maybe what injury he had contributed to that, but man, your net can flop quickly, man, with bullets.
So 1 out for Infante. Speaking of injured shortstop, talked about Jose Reyes and his slide into second base. Ends up being a severely sprained ankle. Reyes, of course, now with the Blue Jays, so severe that he's going to be out until the All-Star break. So the Blue Jays, picked by many to win that AL East, off to a little bit of a slow start, but they're going to be without their shortstop, and he was off to a great start. They'll have to play without him. But remember, they signed Maciras Turres in the offseason as a free agent. Saw a lot of his Turres with the Angels, and he's going to have to play shortstop now for a while. So there's your depth coming in. We're seeing it with the A's right now. Reddick coming in. Sogard out. Reddick's got it for out number 2.
Alex Anthopoulos, the general manager for the Blue Jays, made those trades in the offseason and really loading up with a lot of talent from various clubs with the trades. And injury like that occurs, you start scouting around and see what you can do on a temporary basis. But you're right about his Torres. He was there and will fill in.
Yep. And he's a pretty nice little utility player.
You know, this is the time of the year, but not too many clubs, unless they have some minor league players that are able to play at the major league level. It's tourists, but not too many clubs want to start giving up talent this early in the season. We talked last year, the second wild card makes a big difference also in how general managers may hold on to players a little bit longer, just because they thought that they could hang on and at least reach postseason one way or the other.
1-1 to Austin Jackson. And if you're the team that is in need of something this early in the year and you want to make a trade, you're trading from a disadvantage, because all the other teams know how badly you may think you need something. Jackson pops a foul.
Between now and then at the All-Star, not the All-Star break, but the trading deadline, clubs that feel that they could contend the rest of the way, teams that might have a player similar to this time of the year where you can kind of hold them ransom.
2-2 to Austin Jackson. Single, homer, single for Jackson today. He's scored 3 times. His home run was a 2-run homer, so a huge game for Austin Jackson. And he stays with the curveball and fouls it back. 6 for 14 in the series for Austin Jackson. Rips this one toward right center, but Chris Young's going to get over there. He's got it. And Scribner has a 3-up, 3-down inning. Bottom of the 5th coming up. The Tigers 8 and the A's 1. by an A's player at the Coliseum? That's our AT&T trivia question. Here's the answer. It was last year. Yoenis Cespedes off Jason Vargas. It was in the home opener, and it was 462 feet. We remember that one. Torrey Hunter's yesterday was 463 feet. Looks like that hand is a little swollen, doesn't it?
Yes, it is.
So top of the order for the A's, Jaso, Young, and Smith. Jaso has walked twice. Shallow left, Dirks on the run, makes a nice running catch. All right, here's the 462-foot home run by Cespedes.
That's my son-in-law was there, and he said incoming.
Get out of the way.
It was headed towards that suite. Actually, I think it went over the suite.
Well, you're probably not expecting to see a baseball come up there.
Reggie could hit him up on the ice plant that they used to have before they built Mount Davis, and Canseco went fifth deck at Skydome.
Sure.
Postseason.
So Canseco's home run at the Skydome, which we've seen many, many times, and it's hard to do, but where do you think that would have landed here?
Wow.
Deep, deep second level? Do you think it? I don't know about third deck. That one may go to the second deck, but it's foul. Not quite.
I would have to say it was down the line. Of course, at Skydome, the 5 decks go up, but I would say legitimately it's got to go high second deck.
Yeah, that's what I would say too.
Yeah.
Because that third deck is a long ways back from the foul pole.
Exactly.
Let's say deep, deep second deck. That's our somewhat educated guess.
And maybe to the left of that football insignia that's out on the
3-2 to Chris Young, who is 0 for 2. He reached on a fielder's choice in the third, stole the bat.
Well, that reminds us, Sal Fasano, I think, broke the suite's glass. The glass in the suite.
Exactly.
Well, there you have it again, an 8-1 lead, 3-2 count, one out in the 5th inning in the breaking ball. So Sanchez and Avila have done a very good job today mixing up the pitches to point the A's hitters. Even with the Tigers leading as much as they are, they can't just sit on one pitch.
And Young swings and misses. So Sanchez has now struck out 7 and walked 4.
3-2 changeup following a 3-2 curveball and just floated down and in. Again, from a catcher standpoint, Alex Avila experiencing today that he can put down any sign and have confidence that his pitcher can throw a quality pitch, more likely a strike, with any of the pitches that he throws.
So 2 outs for Smith. And that one almost got Jed Lowry, who had to skip out of the way in the on-deck circle. Couple of strikeouts swinging for Smith today, so he has not been able to zero in on Sanchez just yet. And it's 0-2.
I don't think pitchers don't remember hits by certain hitters. In case of Seth Smith, home run regular season, home run postseason.
See Avila calling for the high fastball. So if you're of the belief that the pitcher throws one pitch up, he may throw the next pitch down.
Maybe Uncle Charlie.
And he did throw it down. And it's looped down the left field line, and Cabrera, a long run, cannot quite catch it. So Dirks flips it into the seats.
That was a changeup at 77, according to the gun. Cabrera, a long run, could not make the catch over his shoulder. Reaching back, that's a hard play to determine how far to stick out your glove with your back to the infield. And just off the tip. And Jim Leland, as he hit the ground, said, please don't hurt the right knee.
Get down. 1-2 pitch is well inside. So 90 pitches for Sanchez. We will see plenty of the Tigers bullpen today. Foul territory, but playable. Prince Fielder on the move. Makes the catch. 3 up, 3 down inning with a strikeout. 6th inning coming up. Torrey Hunter's going to lead it off. 8-1 Detroit. Sportsnet California is brought to you by Hyundai. Hyundai Sunday is brought to you by your Bay Area Hyundai dealers.
What is that, Kate?
Well, if you're into chicken tenders and French fries, then that would be the place you'd want to go to. If you're into an ice cream sandwich, follow that guy.
For Detroit, number 48.
8-1, the Tigers lead. It is the top of the 6th inning.
Or if you just want to gain some pounds, come to the Coliseum.
Or if you want to gain some pounds, travel with the A's on the road.
Well, one traveling young man is at the plate right now, Cape, and we talked about the Twins, the Angels, and now the Tigers for one Torrey Hunter. And one thing that has remained consistent is his number 48. Yeah. And he has that. And Rick Porcello was wearing 48, and Torrey Hunter contacted me and said it'd be nice to keep the same number. So Porcello from New Jersey, and unfortunately the Hurricane Sandy that hit the East Coast. He said, Torrey, make a nice donation and I will pass it on.
So everybody wins there.
So the relief fund. And so Rick Porcello, although a lot of times I think Ron Hassey still stands out to me as the best negotiator with Ricky Henderson for the number 24. But Torrey won at 48. He said, you know, veterans change club. We want to keep the number. So Rick Porcello was willing to give it up. But a nice gesture on Torrey's part to make a healthy donation to the victims of Hurricane Sandy. But, you know, he said he would have taken 21, which was his high school number. but able to keep number 48 in case he has some nice jewelry that he doesn't have to change that.
And Torrey Hunter has a base hit and more. He rolls past Seth Smith all the way to the wall. Torrey Hunter's going to get to second base, and he's going to try for third. And the throw goes all the way through to third, but just a shade late. So the 37-year-old Torrey Hunter still shows that he can run a little bit.
Seth Smith trying to make a diving catch and didn't do it. And once that happened, the ball got by him. Did not, and was not able to put his body in front of the ball, but Torrey Hunter thought it was going to be caught, and then he had to turn it on, and well, he's going to settle for a double. Then no, I think I'm going to go for 3 because he was not turning it on until he rounded second. And Seth Smith made a very strong throw to third. Not enough time.
So Torrey Hunter is 3 for 4 with 2 doubles and a triple. So the top of the order has been really, really tough on the Athletics today. Cabrera hits. Jackson single, Homer single, and then I just told you what Hunter has done today. And those are your top 2 hitters.
Well, we have said often about outfielders who leave their feet, try to keep the double play in order, and that's a single for Torrey Hunter. Maybe Cabrera hits the ball on the ground and rounds into a double play, but Cabrera now with the runner in scoring position, he is really good in these situations.
Scribner a long look. And that one on the ground, and that will hold the runner. Scribner gets a big out there.
That is very big. See if they intentionally walk Prince again.
Now batting, number 28.
The Mariners have taken the lead up at Safeco 4-3 over Texas in the bottom of the 6th inning. Looks like they will pitch, nothing else, carefully to Prince Fielder, and he pops it up. And I think Donaldson's going to have a play, fighting that tough Sun, and he hangs with it. So Prince Fielder goes after the first pitch, and he pops out. 2 outs.
And only at the Coliseum would that be an out, but it's a perfect way to pitch a powerful hitter. Josh Donaldson really fighting the sun. Sunglasses on, but we have seen them on the top of his cap, on the back of his head, and now with the tough sun this afternoon, where they should be, on his eyes. The tall lefty Jerry Blevins is going to be the next hurler for the Athletics.
So infield can go back, and here's Victor Martinez, who's 1 for 3. And an RBI single in the first inning. It was a single that went off the wall in right center. Eleven hits now for Detroit. And the A's have 2. Martinez taking his time. Scribner is ready. Curve, and that big overhand curve. It's a good one from Scribner.
His signature pitch, and he, like A.J. Griffin, he throws it differently than Griffin, but same rotation, downward movement.
See if he throws another one. Stayed with something off speed, and it was the curve. 2-2 the count.
A little bit harder and threw it down. Try to get veteran Martinez to chase.
Torrey Hunter led off this inning with a triple, and he is still there. Close pitch, 3-2. Martinez does not have a home run this year. He's got 4 RBIs. And it's a walk. So Martinez is aboard, and now Dirks will hit.
Blevins is loosening, and with the left-hander coming up, see if Blevins is getting loose to start the 7th, or just in case they needed it for this inning. No, it's going to be for this batter.
So indeed, the manager's coming out. And when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up, your oil change tune-up and smog experts.
On Comcast Sportsnet California is brought to you by Xfinity, home of the most live sports.
I know those kids because they're mine. Hope they're behaving. I'll find out in a couple hours whether they behaved today at the ball game or not. Tigers lead 8-1 over the Athletics. And it'll be Jerry Blevins coming on here in the 6th inning after Scribner goes 2 1/3. After Parker went 3 1/3.
One every out is very important, and Jerry Blevins trying to get the final out of this inning with runners at 1st and 3rd, and especially after the leadoff triple by Hunter that now still standing at 3rd.
Blevins pitched in game 1 of the series. He went an inning and 2/3. Part of that great bullpen work in the extra inning win on Friday. He did not go, so the count is even at 1-1.
It's a good point, Kat, because this bullpen of the A's really takes a lot of pride. All the guys do. Everyone pulling for each other and trying to keep all the success down there. Starting pitcher doesn't go long.
Broken bat. Sogard has the baseball side retired. So Tigers had a leadoff triple, but they do not score. Bottom of the 6th coming up.
Comcast Sportsnet, take your team with you. MLB.tv is celebrating 11 years. Join the millions of fans and subscribe today. Watch every out-of-market game live online on your favorite mobile and connected devices in HD quality. MLB.tv, baseball everywhere. Doing it last night, watching some of the games around the league on the mobile devices. And great quality, great service, great information.
Yes, Lowry.
I turned the MLB.tv on my computer on the road for the first time, and I said, "Whoa, man!" And we say it all the time. The TV quality gets better every year, and now it's to the point where it is high def.
Exactly.
It's like you're watching a high definition TV. And remember about 4 or 5 years ago? Not the case.
They call it something like buffering. Buffer.
Yeah,
it's like they needed a buffer and aspirin almost. No, it's very good quality now. It's great. And walked around last night, I had it on my phone, put the earphone on and put it on the phone. And listen, watch a little bit.
Well, how about this one? We've both done it on the airplane.
Exactly.
Lowry hits one high to right field. Hunter going back, and he's still going back, and he makes an over-the-shoulder catch. So Lowry hit that one pretty well, hoping maybe he would get a little help from the wind.
Yeah, you're right, Cap, with the wind, and actually Torrey Hunter
First
I thought it was
baseman.
deeper than what he looked like. He was coming in to catch the ball. I thought it was going to be traveling deeper. The wind got a little bit, and now Torrey looking at the flag, swirling a little bit.
Well, that was way up there, so you were hoping it would get a little help. One out. Here's Moss.
And the great Mickey Morbido on the plane has the Wi-Fi.
Well, we're lucky to have Wi-Fi, So you can sometimes get the video, but worst case scenario, you can get the audio.
Right.
You can listen to a game. So we're very fortunate there. Drive to left center. Pretty deep, but not quite deep enough. Dirks all over the place today ends up making the catch. So Moss is retired, and it's a quick 2 outs here in the 6th inning.
It's interesting today that the pitches that have been hit by the Tigers for hits have been more in the line drive variety, and they've eluded the outfielders, whether in the glove or them completely, but the A's seem to be hitting the high fly balls that for some reason, maybe the wind knocking them down a little bit, just not traveling far enough.
So here's Reddick. Reddick spins one out in front of home plate, foul. Angels 2, Astros 1. That game now in the 8th inning. Astros will be here tomorrow. Chris Carter starting to heat up.
Whoa,
Chris Carter did not look good when the A's were in Houston. He was striking out just about every time, but he's got 4 home runs now.
Crushed the ball to right center last night, which is not easy for a right-hander at Angel Stadium, but he did, and did not take long to get out. And playing left field and doing quite well.
2-2 to Reddick, who has struck out and popped out to short. Over 100 pitches now is Anibal Sanchez. His last start, he threw 114. And that was on Tuesday. And Reddick waves at the pitch, fires the bat past Josh Donaldson. Side retired. So 6 in a row retired by Sanchez.
Selling authentic game-used memorabilia behind Section 120 at the Coliseum. Items include game-used jerseys, helmets, bats, bases, lineup cards, and more. All items are authenticated under the MLB Authentication Program. A portion of the proceeds will benefit the Oakland A's Community Fund. Eric Farrell down in the clubhouse today as he was gathering items, and Steve Bushin said, Eric, got more stuff for you. And so he gathers it for the A's Community Fund. And I asked him, we were talking about the game 162 ball that was dropped by Josh Hamilton. He says, I have it going up on the website for the auction. And he said, Dominic, follow that baseball because it did stay in play.
Sure.
And then after he had followed it like the cap caper and found it, got it, authenticated it, and it's going to be auctioned. And that is a nice item that's going to be up for auction for the A's Community Fund.
Well, to follow a baseball and be lucky enough to not have it end up in the stands at some point, that's not easy to do.
Great point.
I mean, how many foul balls are there in a game?
Yeah, I'm sure Dominic was hopeful that the ball would stay in play.
Well, that would have, if I remember correctly, if he catches it, it would have been the third out.
It was, yes.
So there was one more out to get.
So he dropped the ball, 2 runs scored, and then the next out was recorded rather quickly. So that helped keep the ball in play. And as soon as it came back before they deposited into the bag of used baseballs. Now that ball is going to go to the A's bat boy. He'll look at it and put it in a bag to the side. That's going to be, oh boy,
got Peralta pretty good.
When it gets up high like that in the knees and the shins, just have to remember Jermaine Dye back with the A's in the early 2000s.
The Exmo will give you a pretty good idea.
Oh,
right on. It's like the knee, huh?
Well, right just below the knee, and that's where Jermaine Dye got hit, and it fractured his. It fractured his shin bone, tibia, whatever that's in there.
So the count is 0-2 to Johnny Peralta. Avila and Infante to follow. And as a good pitcher does, you throw the next pitch inside, right? I mean, it's it's a hang with them.
That's right.
Peralta is 0 for 3. So he has not joined the hit parade where the Tigers have 11 hits total.
See why the Tigers wanted to re-sign Anibal Sanchez.
Yep.
He has proven today excellent pitches. All of his pitches are excellent.
Well, 5 years, $80 million is a lot of money. It's $16 million a year. But really good pitching is so hard to come by. And I think if you have it, you certainly like to keep it. Big advantage for the A's is that they have good pitching and it's young and they do not yet have to pay them a great deal of money. Now that may change at some point, but when you start talking about the A's rotation and then Cook and Doolittle.
Maybe you're talking about the entire A's pitching staff not making 16.
Peralta rips one fair. It's headed into the left field corner and Johnny Peralta running pretty well. And he's going to have a leadoff double. So that'll make the leg feel a little bit better anyways.
And Jared Blevins stayed inside and then hung a breaking ball, a curveball to him. He had gone down and in. The hard slider and cutter that could not get him out. And an extra base hit will always make the wheels feel better. Put ice on it after the game. Go up in Seattle tomorrow night where it's nice and cool. Won't need ice. Saw some of that game last night. Ogando was pitching and you could see his breath. I mean, it was that cold in Seattle, which it can get cold, but they have the roof closed and carport.
Double by Peralta, the 4th double for the Tigers today. They also have a triple. They also have a home run. So 6 extra base hits. Fastball, good spot by Blevins on the outside corner. 0-2 to Avila, who's 1 for 3. Singled and scored in the 2nd inning. Grounded out in the 3rd. Grounded out again in the 5th. Blevins tried that outside corner again and just missed it. But today, Ray, where Connor Jackson retired. Connor Jackson, a couple years with the Athletics. Went to spring training with the Baltimore Orioles and almost made the team. It was a late release, and Connor Jackson has decided to call it a career.
Can't go back to acting.
Maybe that's where he's headed. As Avila strikes out. A nice guy, went to Cal.
Yeah. Well, Avila getting the breaking ball. Jerry Blevins throwing a good one to the left-hander and threw it hard enough. And Avila, who has 1 hit in 4 appearances today. Big one back in the 2nd inning, which scored in front of Jackson's home run.
First pitch to Infante inside. Remember in the playoffs last year, Ray, we talked a lot about Cabrera and Jackson, but it was Omar Infante who had a lot of big hits in that series.
Bottom part of the batting order, you're right. Sometimes I think pitchers shouldn't, but I don't know if they really do, but it seems like they worry so much about power, packed lineup, middle of lineup, that relax a little bit. That's why probably guys who are around, in the case of the Tigers, with Cabrera, Fielder, Martinez, everybody else, they're better.
Sure.
Because they figure those are the big guys going to do most of the damage. Austin Jackson having a great day, great season.
So 2-1 to Omar Infante, who will be a free agent. In fact, he and Johnny Peralta, the middle infielders, will be free agents for the Tigers. And Blevins off speed, and it's a swing and a miss. So 2-2 the count to Infante. Josh Hamilton has just homered for the Angels, a 2-run shot. So the Angels now lead 4-1 in the bottom of the 8th inning. Hamilton, a home run to left center field at the Big A.
Must have thrown him a fastball.
There's a drive down the left field line, and that's going to just hook foul.
Hit a fastball last night for a home run, and was very quick. A fastball that he got, and flailed at some changeups later.
He's hanging in there. That's also the age that will be sleeping soon in the car on the way home. By the time he gets to the 238 interchange, he'll be out. Outfield straight away. See if Moss has a play. Hustling, and he caught it. Went into a slide. It looked like he may have juggled it a little bit, but was able to hold on.
Well, he had a long run also, and I think the wind knocked it down. He started after, thought maybe it's going to be relatively easy. Then right there is when he had to kick it in gear. Going in the slide.
No, he held on to it.
Yes, he did. And amazingly, as he hit the ground, banged his elbow into the ground, hanging onto the baseball. Just in the end of the first baseman's glove, and able to draw it down into the pocket, hang on as he hit the ground hard. And a great catch by an outfielder playing first base. And he has made some great plays. You know, the one thing he said, I thought it was great. He said to Mike Gallego, just talk to him about the positioning of the glove, laying it down kind of flat and then having everything come up. And you know, when you're learning a relatively new position, which he did last year at AAA. Little things he's constantly trying to pick up, and Gags helped him tremendously.
Lowry can't get it. Base hit into left field. So Austin Jackson's huge day continues. He now has 4 hits, 3 RBIs, and it's another run for the Tigers.
Well, he's so good, Kipe. It's time for the AT&T Uverse Rewind, and guess who is the recipient of today's award? It's this man, Austin Jackson. What a day he has had. That was the home run, the line drive off the fastball from Jared Parker. Started the game with a single, scored 3 runs, and a big 2-run home run, and make it now he's driven in 3.
So he came in with 2 RBIs. Now he has 5. So Jackson, he also came into the game hitting .353, and he's 4 for 5.
And it's a perfect day for the Tigers to be leaving town.
They're starting to warm themselves up a little bit.
If the Mariners who are scouting this, advanced scouting, and the Angels advanced scouting, then guess what? They are heating up.
Good teams always do.
Yeah. Well, it's just a matter of time. Jim Leland, they talking glowing terms about the A's team in general and pitching staff in particular. And of course, his friend Bob Melvin, the great job that the skipper's doing. So it's always nice when a veteran manager, Jim Leland, longtime manager on the World Series in Miami, but whenever you hear the skipper talk about how great a team is that they're playing, in this case the A's. Experienced it last October as they were barely able to beat the A's in 5 games in the division series.
So a good battle here. Torrey Hunter hanging in there on 0-2.
You know, Jim Leland's 68, told me 68, and he's managing like he's a kid, like playing. He's a catcher and just loves the game of baseball. And he's the type of manager you hope never retires.
And he should not.
He should not, and he's that good. He can wear the tennis shoes, doesn't have to wear the cleats anymore. Just keep managing. That's the main thing.
That one's hit hard to center, but Young is right there, and he's got it. Side retired. A run as we have hit the 7th inning stretch. 9-1 Detroit. Tigers lead the A's. Kind of a tough day for the Athletics. But you're going up against a good team.
Well, that's why Friday night's win was so big for the Athletics to be able to hang on, win on extra innings. on the walk-off home run by Josh Donaldson, because I knew it was going to be a tough weekend against a very good Tigers club. At least they were able to salvage one. Or at least the first one. That this isn't over yet.
Shot towards center. Jackson is right there. So Donaldson hit that ball right on the button. He's retired.
Now batting, the catcher.
Almost had another no-hitter today. See Downs and Porcello. Downs the lefty, Porcello the righty, loosening up. It was Clay Buchholz. He had his no-hitter broken up in the top of the 8th inning. Buchholz ended up obviously getting the win. Boston beat Tampa Bay 5-0. So the Red Sox playing fairly good baseball. They're now 7-4. Buchholz off to a terrific start. He has won his first 3 starts. White Sox beat the Indians 3-1 in Cleveland. Peavy got the win. It was a 5-game losing streak that the White Sox were sitting on, but that is over with their win. Kansas City beat Toronto 3-2. They got a walk-off RBI single from Alex Gordon. Good breaking ball in for a strike, 1-2. And the Mets and the Twins, as Ray had mentioned earlier, postponed. And that's an issue because that would be an interleague game, folks. The Mets and the Twins do not have another scheduled game. So they're going to make it up on August 19th. So that's obviously an off day for both teams. And wherever the Mets are, they're going to have to fly to Minnesota.
And Mickey Morvita was telling me that we were talking about the Yankees being rained out or cold out or something out.
Yes, in Cleveland.
It's going to make it.
That ball's hit well, and that ball's off the very top of the wall by Norris. Didn't miss a home run by much. He's going to have a 1-out double.
That's about as close as you could come. The ball just kept going, kept going. It was going to be at least off the wall, which it was, but another foot or so, couple of feet maybe, would have gone out. Another curveball that Norris hit for the sac fly at his last at bat. This one, get up. Bob Uecker would have been saying, get up, get out of here.
A couple feet maybe.
Yeah, that was it. But anyway, Mickey said the Yankees are going back into Cleveland on an off day, I want to say in May, to play a doubleheader.
Yeah, they'd have to play a doubleheader.
They have 2 games to make up. They have a day to play a regular doubleheader, not a day night or anything.
So they're doing it in May.
I want to say that's in May. I'd have to double check.
That was last week that those 2 games back to back were postponed in Cleveland.
Maybe BI could look at the schedule of the Yankees and the Indians and look at the mutual off day and be able to tell us exactly when that's going to take place. He does it quickly.
So we're being told that the Mets, when they have to stop in Minnesota, will be flying home from San Diego. So they will go, instead of going San Diego back home to New York, they will have to stop for that 1 game in Minneapolis.
And it could rain. It could pour down rain then.
You don't know.
In August.
So. Angels leading 4-1 in the 9th over Houston. So the Angels are trying to wrap up a series win. Mariners 4, Texas 3 in the 8th. On the ground to Peralta, who throws out Sogard for out number 2. Now, the hottest team in baseball now is the Atlanta Braves. They won again today. 9-0 at Washington. And Washington's a team that a lot of people feel could be one of the best teams in baseball. The Braves went into Washington, D.C. and swept them. And they finished it off 9-0, beating Gio Gonzalez. That one's hit well. Right field. Hunter's back, and he makes the catch in front of the wall for out number 3. So Jaso hit it well. A couple of well-hit balls for the A's, and they get nothing. 8th inning coming up.
broadcast is presented by authority of the Oakland Athletics and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Athletics Investment Group, LLC.
Handshakes for Anibal Sanchez, so looks like his afternoon is done after 7 very good innings, giving up just 1 run on 3 hits. He's had a couple of opportunities against him, but could not come through. When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune Up, your oil change, tune-up, and smog experts. Chris Resop comes in, 4th pitcher of the afternoon for the Athletics. So Blevins goes an inning and a third, and now Resop takes over here in the 8th inning. Michael Taylor comes in the game, so his first big league action this year. He will play left field. Seth Smith will get the rest of the day off. So Cabrera to lead it off against Resop. Cabrera breaks his bat, grounds one up the middle. Lowry is there, and that's out number 1. Broken bat for Cabrera. In fact, see the bat boy, but the umpire's picking up some wood splinters as well.
Last at bat for Cabrera had a runner in third and nobody out, and grounded out to a shortstop. But when he has runners in scoring position, that's why Jim Leland said he's such a good hitter, and Cabrera is. And I think the A's got to be happy to see the Tigers hit up north, northwest, and then down south. And just watch the bat in X-Mo. See the splinter right there, and then the bat head heading out, and fortunately it did not hit anybody, because those, well, it's like a spear. Bats break the way they do.
Prince Fielder 7 for 10 in this series with a couple of home runs. He's got an RBI double today. Bounce to short, but Donaldson slides in front, and his throw is low.
Stay
past Moss, and it roll into the dugout. Yes, it did. So Prince Fielder's going to end up at second base. Donaldson was well off the line. There was a little bit of a shift, so that's why Donaldson ended up making that play, even though the ball was hit toward the shortstop.
Well, it's right to Lowry. He's there, but Donaldson ranging to his left did the 360, and unfortunately this time the ball hit the ground.
Number 41.
And Brandon Moss not able to come up with it. Almost hit Fielder to stop it, but went right between the wickets, between his legs. E5 all the way.
Indeed.
But I said hit the lip because there is a lip. There's a plank. There's a step in the dugouts, and a lot of times there's some space between the plank, and if it rolls, the ball will hit and not go into the dugout. The ball is still in play, but evidently it popped over.
Martinez fouls it straight back. Victor Martinez 1 for 3. RBI single and a walk. Watch this. We see kids do that occasionally. Look, he's got that's a good game face going too. I got it. I know what I'm doing, Dad. He's a visitor, man. I don't want a foul ball from a Tiger. Forget that. I think he knew exactly what he was doing just by looking at his face.
He might have to explain to his.
Maybe not now.
He might have to explain to his dad when he gets home. Mother would have said, "That's okay, son. Don't worry about it."
Hey, Dad, you better get your wallet out. You better get a baseball somewhere. Now we feel bad for the little guy.
Well, if Steve Vucinich is watching, Vuce, grab a baseball, find that location, and send Cliffy up there with a ball. Somebody.
You're going to get that kid a ball.
Yeah.
0-2 pitch to Martinez, and he's tomahawks with a foul. Now he's about to realize what. So the older brother informed him.
What are you doing?
And I don't think the older brother's saying, you know what, youngster, I think you made a mistake. He's going, that was really stupid. What are you doing?
And now we know how the young man felt in the Sandlot when he had the guy named Baby Ruth in a signature.
We know exactly how it feels. Well, we're pulling for this little guy.
Right. Yeah, nice going.
Good throw, though. Look,
he's got a great arm. And the father was going up thanking the gentleman for giving him the baseball. Nice going, thank you. And he just realized it just left his hand. What's the location? What is that location?
Way outside.
Plaza, then if he's in the Plaza level, he threw it down in the first deck. Somebody got the souvenir from down below.
Two and two to Victor Martinez. He's 3-2.
Find him?
No, not yet. I'm looking for him. Andy Dirks will hit next. And there's the walk. So Arizap was ahead in the count. Martinez gets his second walk. So 2 on, 1 out for Dirks. So more action for the Tigers. They have had base runners all over the place all day.
Now batting, number 12, Andy Dirks.
So Dirks hits with 2 aboard. This is not getting better right now. It's actually getting a little worse.
Dad's got a call or somebody sent him a word and said, "You're on TV. Just saw your son throw the baseball in the sand."
Announcers are talking about you.
It's amazing about those mobile devices, huh?
Yeah. Young is there. He's got it. And that's the second out here in the top of the 8th inning. And Peralta will hit.
Now batting,
Peralta 1 for 4 today.
Johnny Peralta.
3 for 14 in the series, but one of those hits was a 3-run homer yesterday. Arizap kicks, and the first pitch to Peralta is in the dirt, and it goes past Norris, and both runners will move up. This was the 3-run homer yesterday by Peralta.
Remember, this was after Brett Anderson had fallen down a couple of times, and then a 3-2 just grooved the fastball. Peralta, a very good hitter, especially on a mistake, and that was a mistake with the location of the pitch, and that was a big blow.
So 1-0 to Peralta. 2-0 to Peralta. Now Peralta, if you're a hitter, you're up 9-1, runners are out there, and you're sitting 2-0. And he lays off, and it's 3-0.
You know, and unfortunately, these types of games are going to happen throughout a season, long season of 162 games. But one thing it does do is puts a damper on the team earned run average, because one error in the game, I think it's been earned today, it seems.
There's a strike, so Peralta, he'll be ready to rip now with the count 3-1. Little flare. Young coming in, still coming in, and it's going to drop. One run's going to score. Martinez will stop at third. So Peralta just got enough of it, dropped it into center field, and it's 10-1. And then nothing going right for the A's today. They hit some balls hard. Didn't get anything for it.
And both runners really taking off, reading the fact that the ball was going to be softly enough to land in front of Young, but Jane Lamont decided to hold up the second runner. Martinez, he coming off season ending knee surgery, did not want to push him. But Peralta, another former Tribes player like Victor Martinez, hurting the A's.
Here's Avila. Avila is 1 for 4. A single in the second inning. That's his only hit in the series. Outside. Resop struggling some. Pretty tough to come into a game out of the bullpen too when it's very one-sided. It's late.
Well, and also he retires Cabrera in a first pitch fastball, then the error, and that kind of opened the door a little bit. Instead of maybe having a quick inning, the pitchers also realize that errors do occur behind them, and they have to do their job to settle down and stop the bleeding.
Martinez at third, Peralta at first, and a swing and a miss. 2-2 to count. Rick Porcello is throwing out in the bullpen. Pitch is outside, so a full count, and Peralta, the runner at first, has not been being held on. He's going to take off. Pitch number 23 from Resop. And it's bounced slowly toward Lowry. Side retired. Another run. There was an error, a hit, and a walk. Bottom of the 8th coming up. It's 10-1 Tigers.
No way!
All right, here's the game summary. It's brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. 10-14-0 for Detroit. 1-3-1 for the A's. That's a lopsided line score, folks. Unfortunately, Sanchez was very good. 6 innings, gave up just the 3 hits. So he's in line for the win. And another difficult start for Jared Parker. So his 3rd start in all 3, he has struggled.
But I think the impressive thing about Sanchez today is Porcello, the starter, is taking over in the 8th inning. Don Kelly is going to come in and play right field. But what Sanchez did today with the big lead, and it was an early big lead, 8-0 after 3.5 or 4 innings, actually. But he changed speeds.
He did.
He did not just say, here's fastball.
All,
Man, and talking to Jim Price, he said he's got quality pitches, and he used all of them and really helped Alex Avila, the catcher, to call into those pitches. And
well, we hear it all the time, but he pitched like it was a 1-0 game.
That's exactly right. That's the way you're supposed to pitch all the time, and he proved it today.
When it's time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up, your oil change, tune-up, and smog experts. So it is Rick Porcello. Porcello, of course, is the 5th starter for the Tigers, but the Tigers have an off day tomorrow, and they have skipped Porcello. So he's going to get a couple of innings out of the bullpen. Cabrera grabs it in the air as Chris Young was jammed. So Young is retired. He's 0 for 4 today. So that's 1 out here at the bottom of the 8th inning. That's a final now in Anaheim. The Angels 4 and the Astros 1. Hamilton had 3 hits, 3 RBIs, and his 2nd home run. So Hamilton's starting to swing the bat better, which we knew he would. And C.J. Wilson got his 1st win. So the Angels, after being swept by the Athletics, they take 2 out of 3 from Houston. And now the Astros will get on a plane. And they will head to the Bay Area. The Angels, on the other hand, they will get on a plane and they will go to Minnesota. So they're going to have to deal with some weather there. They play Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday in Minneapolis. So we'll see if the weather improves at Target Field. But that'll be something to watch for.
And it was confirmed May 13th is when New York will travel into Cleveland for a doubleheader to make up the 2 losses. So 2 games that were rain, snow, cold out.
Whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Michael Taylor is jammed and he grounds out 4-3. So 2 quick outs here for Porcello.
Attention, please. Ladies and gentlemen, batting for Lowry, number 12, Andy Perino.
So Andy Perino is going to hit for Lowry. Well, even if you can get your regulars a couple innings off, that can help.
And Porcello throwing hard, so his tune-up as he will miss a start, like you explained. And nice enough to change from 48 to 21, and Torrey Hunter could have saved a lot of money if he'd taken 21. So that was his high school number. So he decided to keep his 48. So that quickly, a very, very quick inning.
Yes, indeed. 3 up, 3 down. 9th inning coming up. All Detroit today. to the O.Co Coliseum. First time as a member of the AL West. Game 1 is going to have Tommy Malone against Eric Bedard. Coverage begins at 6:30 with A's pregame live. And remember, you get complete A's coverage every night on Sportsnet Central and CSNCalifornia.com. There's the rest of the pitching matchups for that series. Peacock and Griffin on Tuesday. Brad Peacock pitched against the A's in Houston. And then Bud Norris and Bartolo Colon on Wednesday. Wednesday is a day game. It's a non-televised game. So radio only on Wednesday. We will have the games for you on Monday and Tuesday night here on Comcast. So that's what's coming up. So we got a new pitcher. It's going to be Ryan Cook. So Cook is going to get an inning's worth of work. We'll resop an inning, gives up an unearned run. So Infante to lead things off. First pitch slider is outside. Well, as we suspected, Ray, Carlos Quinton dropped his appeal today.
Wow, right before Jackie Robinson Day, right?
He dropped his, he took it on himself to drop it.
So started suspension effective immediately. And have a clear conscience on Monday.
Exactly right. All right, it's all good, folks.
So they got word and got the young man a pelota. And he said, I don't want it. I threw it away.
Now batting.
No, they each got one. That's even better.
That's great.
Austin Jackson.
That is great on behalf of the Oakland A's that they saw what was happening. They found the section, got some baseballs. Somebody's watching Comcast Sportsnet California, right?
Good. Everybody's happy.
That's right.
They were, two little guys were disappointed. Andy Perino and Nate Fryman. They just took care of Omar Infante, and they are now in the game.
And we just want to give advance warning that if you come to a game and you throw a ball back on the field, don't expect to have somebody bring you another one. This might be a special case today.
One has been started. Huh? But then again, when you see a maybe 4, 5, 6-year-old disappointed, they should never leave a ball game disappointed. That's
well, and I think you said it best. It was a visitor hitting it, and he said, "Come on, man! I got all this A's cap and jersey, and I'm sitting up here in an A's fan, and a visiting player hits me a baseball, and I'm giving it, gives it to me. I'm not going to keep it." So
he's probably thinking, "Well, what are they going to? They got to have a ball. What are they going to play with?"
Well, yeah, that's right, because when he plays it, if there's a foul ball hit, please return it.
You run and get it.
That's right. That's a great point. Never thought about
He thinks that's the gamer ball.
Well, he's a great A's fan, and he's here as a youngster, and he's going to be here for many years. Thanks to his parents for bringing the youngsters out on Pet Calendar Day. So they'll probably have it displayed in their bedrooms and say, circle
Pet Calendar Day.
Pet Calendar Day on today, April the 14th. And Daddy, Mommy be saying that's a special day because it's the day before taxes are due.
Thanks for reminding me. Strike call to Don Kelly, his first at bat. He takes over for Torrey Hunter, who was a tough out today. Torrey Hunter had 2 doubles and a triple. That for a day. Think Torrey Hunter still can't play?
I think the Angels are wondering whenever he's down there for a weekend series against his former team. What if they'll bring up Torreytown signs out of right field? They should, exactly.
They got Hamiltown.
They still have the Torreytown sign, I'm sure. 5 great years playing for the Angels, so I'm sure Torreytown sign will be probably displayed. It's got a lot of fans down there. A lot of fans around baseball, so I wouldn't be surprised to see them show up with the signs.
So Cook walks Kelly, and we're going to get another pinch hitter. It's going to be Ramon Santiago, who's going to hit for Cabrera.
Number 39, Ramon Santiago.
So Cabrera is done. He goes 1 for 4 with the 2-run single. Looks like Prince Fielder's afternoon is done as well, as Matt Tuiasosopo has come out into the on-deck circle. There are 2 outs in the inning. That one hit high to right. Reddick back toward the corner near the fence, and he makes a basket catch. That was not an easy play. He was fighting that sun a little bit, but the Gold Glover takes care of it. Side retired. We are headed to the bottom of the 9th inning. A's need a bunch and then some. Sportsnet Central. It's brought to you by AT&T Uverse. It's this evening at 6 o'clock, and it's on Comcast Sportsnet Bay Area. And highlights from this game, final round of the Masters. Could there be a playoff? Speaking of playoffs, where are the Warriors going to finish up? They're either going to be the 6th seed, the 7th seed, or the 8th seed. They just don't know quite yet. Henry Wolford and John Henry Smith will host. Here at the Coliseum, it's been all Tigers. A's fans have had a good time today, but Tigers have flexed their muscles just a little bit. Santiago is now at third base, and Tuiasosopo is at first base. And Porcello is back out there for his second inning of work. He had a 6-pitch 3 up, 3 down 8th inning. Here he faces Nate Fryman. Fryman has not got a whole lot of playing time as of late.
And what looked like might be a platoon has turned into just the opposite because of the way players like Brandon Moss played, especially Moss.
And Seth Smith got off to a hot start. There may have been a couple of games where Fryman may have DH'd against a left-handed pitcher, but Smith did because he's been a hot hitter. Peralta throws, Fryman's out, and that's out number 1 here in the bottom of the 9th inning. Tigers scored early. In fact, they had a run on the board after 2 hitters. They scored 2 in the first, 2 in the second, 4 in the fourth, 1 in the 7th, 1 in the 8th. And they have banged out 14 hits total. curveball from Porcello is in for a strike. So Reddick has struck out twice and popped to short.
I'm not surprised that as Bob Melvin has been replacing certain players and at bats are in the field, that Josh Reddick has stayed in the game. He needs to get his swing back. And I'm sure if there was any question as to whether he was going to come out or not, he wanted to stay in the game.
Yep.
It's important when you miss time to get as many at bats as possible. Just hope the strike zone doesn't widen too much. That
get him more frustrated.
Exactly.
It's jammed there, fights it off. Behind in the count, 1-2. Well, at some point, somebody will pay for Reddick's struggles at this point. Maybe to be the Houston Astros.
According to Josh, it would not be the razor blade. Or in the case of his beard, it would take more than a razor to get rid of it. But he said he's going to continue to.
We will start hearing that, though.
Oh, I'm sure.
We already have.
Well, last year we saw it, and he struggled a bit. Then he came out clean shaven, but he said that will not take place this year.
He reached for that one, rolls it toward first. So Reddick 0 for 4, and that's 2 outs here in the ninth.
There it is, the beard off at beard off for Josh Reddick. Host hashtag. Oh, that's right. I'm not a tweeter. Sorry, I didn't know.
Come on, Ray.
I'm sorry. I'm
Don't
sorry.
miss that one.
Sorry. Tweeter, I'm not. I got somebody that's doing it for me.
Yes, you do.
No, not for me. No, that is doing it. I have nothing to do with that. Let me clarify that. Josh Reddick, or Josh Donaldson, boy, that's scary. And as he tried, something happened as his foot hit, and then his left foot, he saw the curveball, and his left foot never touched the ground initially as he lifted it. Normally he gets the foot down, but he saw the breaking ball and tried to buckle his knees. And it did buckle his knee, actually. That's literally what happened. Scary. Especially if it's already have happened to some of the A's players.
Donaldson is 0 for 2. He did walk in the 4th inning. That's the inning the A's scored their only run. And they scored it on a sacrifice fly by Derek Norris.
And that's a great point, Kevin. I think today that typifies exactly what has happened to the A's today, and especially with Anibal Sanchez. He had Derek Norris with an 8-0 lead and dropped a 3-2 curveball on him, and he had a sac fly and then struck out the next batter. And that's why he was so brilliant today in his pitching, and if his catch is made, he just picked up his win.
Indeed he did. Sanchez the win, Parker the loss, and the Detroit Tigers come to the Coliseum. They take 2 out of 3 by winning the final 2 games of the series. So all Jim Leyland and his Tigers this afternoon. A little over 20,000 saw it, but Tigers winning by a final score of 10-1. So the A's will wait for the Houston Astros. That series starts tomorrow night. You've been watching Oakland A's baseball on Comcast Sportsnet California. Don't go away. A's post-game live with Scott Reese and Bip Roberts starts right now.